Welcome back to another Wuthering Ways video. In today's video, we're going to be going over Jiyan's full move sets, his autos, his skills, and his ultimate attacks, and his resistance chain. We're going to break that all down in this video, and we're going to be going over all his moves so you guys can understand how Jiyan mechanically actually works. Now, let's first go into his Wuthering Forte. That's what I like to do, go through the skill tree first so we could understand what we're looking at. Now, before we start, I want you guys to pay attention to the resonance chain at the bottom. There's an E and an R here, basically one for skill, one for R. When we go into the Wuthering Forte, I'm going to explain in detail why they're different and what do they actually do, you know. So let's go over that first. Resonance chain is called Triumph Long. I think it's Triumph Valor. I'm not really sure because I see Triumph Valor. In short, what it basically means is when you have his resonance chain either halfway or filled, when you use it, you see it get drained when you use your skill or your R ability. Now, when you use this and you have this filled up, it does more damage. It does around 20% more damage when you use your skill. Now, when you use his ultimate attack, and if you're above 30 on the resonance chain, you will deal a lot more arrow damage. You'll do around 20% more. So basically, when you use your skill as your resonance chain is completely filled, it uses around 30 resonance chain availability, right? So it does drain when you use your skill. So keep in mind that for you to fill up that resonance chain, you need to be DPSing a lot. You need to do your auto attacks, do some combos here and there, save and wait until it gets filled up so you could use your skill so you could do more damage on top of that. Now, if you fill that up all the way and you go into your ultimate attack and you use your skill, it does even more damage because you're in the ultimate state, which is his Triumph Valor state. So let's go over that really quick. His auto attacks, they're pretty fast paced and there's a lot. Now, it says 5 continuous attacks, but when I count, I see 6. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but you can do around 5 to 6 auto attacks where he does a slam at the end, and that's when you know the whole auto attack sequence is complete. You can also do a heavy attack where he basically does a few jabs on his spear, and he basically launches the enemy up in the air. And then while you're in the air, you're holding the charged button to charge attack. And then when you're gonna come down, you do a downward strike and you basically charge again. So it's kind of like double charged attacks, right? So you could do that full combo sequence. I'll explain it in detail once we get into showcasing, right? And we're gonna talk about his sky roaming certitude. Now I'm gonna showcase both because at first when I was looking at this unit before even playing the game, I thought that he had 2 ultimate attacks. He kind of does, but they don't work like how you think. It's just the animation is different depending if he's mid-air or on the ground. I believe that when you're mid-air, from what I've seen, he does a lot more damage because he throws his lance to the ground and it does a lot of damage from that alone. So if it were up to me, if I'm trying to defeat an enemy and I want the most damage, I would probably jump mid-air and do my ultimate attack like that and then start DPSing with his ultimate. So basically when you're in this state, when you use his ultimate attack and you're in this state, he basically turns his normal and heavy attack into Triumph Lance. So he starts going crazy, starts hitting every single hit he does is arrow damage. So now let me show you the auto attacks, the skills, and all the types of combos you can do for Jiyan specifically. So we're gonna start with his auto attacks. He does have 5 auto attacks. I thought it was 6, but it's actually 5. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he does a slam at the end, right? I thought you had to click that again, but you don't. So you basically just do that once, right? That's his auto attacks, right? You just keep clicking. And then when you see that slam at the end, that's basically the end of his full combo auto attacks. Now, let's do his charge attack. His charge attack is a little different. So if you hold click, he does a few animations there. He does like this jabbing stuff with his pole arm and flies up in the air, right? So what happens when you're flying up in the air, you actually have to hold charged again so he can slam down. So I'm going to show you right now. So you hold charged, you release, and then charge again. Actually, you have to do that twice. See, so it's a little weird to explain because when you're actually playing, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I'll try it again. So we're going to do a charge right here, fly up in the air, do an attack, and then charge down again. So the way the heavy attack works for Jiyan is by holding the click button. When you go up in the air, you auto attack, then charge again to slam down. That's the whole combo for the heavy attack basically, right? Now let me show you his skill. You acquire 2 skills through a sequence, aka constellation. If you don't know what that means, basically an extra duplicate of him when you're pulling for him. So I have 2, but normally you would have 1, right? But the cooldown is very, very short, right? So you can use the skill on the floor like that. He does that. And you could use it mid-air as well. So you could go like that and then dash, right? So you can basically do that. You can do like a skill and then go into a combo if you want, right? You can also do a dash attack mid-air, charge again. So you could do a heavy attack on the way down from after that. You can do 2 charges, right? You could go mid-air, do that, come down, charge again. There's a lot of combos you could do with him. He's very fast-paced and a lot of fun. And he is a ton of fun. He really is a really great character. So now what we're gonna do next, let's find some enemies so I can fill up the resonance chain so you can see what happens here when this glows, okay? So I found some enemies here for Jiyan. I'm gonna show the example of how he works. We're gonna do some auto attack combos first. We're gonna use the skill mid-air and also on the floor. We'll do the charge attack so you guys can see what I'm talking about when you launch an enemy in the air. And we're gonna use this ultimate attack. Now I'm gonna showcase both ultimate attacks so you can see the difference because it is different, okay? But I will highly advise that when you get his ult, definitely use it mid-air or while you're jumping in the air so you could get more damage out of it. So let's get into it. We're gonna do the auto attacks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? He did the slam at the end. That's 1. Now I'm gonna do the charge attack so I can show you guys how that works. You're gonna do the charge. We're gonna launch him in the air. Hold again, charge again, dive down. Perfect, nice. And we do that attack at the end. Now let me show you his skill. You go once like that, right? Nice, nice. And then we're gonna show you mid-air, watch. So we're gonna launch him in the air, skill, dive down, charge again. Really, really, really cool attacks, right? Now, we're gonna go over his ultimate attack. And I'm gonna do the one that does the more damage so we can see the difference because there is a difference in this, okay? So when you jump and you skill, he's gonna throw his lance or his spear down onto the ground doing a lot of damage, okay? So I'm gonna jump and do my skill, right? 3,200 damage, and you can start DPSing and you gather groups of enemies while doing this. You gather them all up and they wrap around all over the place like a tornado, right? So I'm learning as I go. I think I discovered something that I should have probably mentioned at the beginning, but I think the way his ult works, when you fill up this resonance chain and you see R available, then I think Jiyan strikes down on the ground with this polearm when you trigger his ultimate attack. Now, from my theory, I think that if I just trigger it right now, he's not gonna do that same move because you didn't build your resonance chain. So it won't allow him to do that unless this is filled up. So to test my theory really quick, because these units are very complex, as I said, so I am sometimes, even while I'm making these videos, I am discovering new things as I go sometimes, and little details can be missed very easily, so please bear with me. But if my theory is correct, if I have no resonance chain built up and I use my R ability, I don't think he should be striking down on his polearm, or maybe it's just RNG that he just does it when he wants to. That's just my guess. I'm not really sure. So I'm gonna test it here because we already did the strike down method. Let's see how it is when you don't have it, right? So let's see what happens. Yeah, so as I thought, he just goes into his ult here. Got it, okay. So when his resonance chain is not filled up, or even if it's empty, or I don't even think the halfway does it, you need to see R available on the resonance chain. If it's not filled up, then he won't strike down with this polearm. He will not. Absolutely will not. So that's a good way to do the example. I hope that like helped you guys to understand the difference between the both, because it was really hard right now for me to figure that out. I didn't really understand it, but now that I'm actually trying it, I think I understand how it works. So basically, remember when the resonance chain is filled up and you see R available and your ult is up, then he'll do the strike down polearm attack. But if it's not available, then he's just gonna trigger his ult. He's gonna grab his lance, and then he could start DPSing. So that's the way that works on his ultimate attack. One does do more damage than the other technically, because when the resonance chain is filled up and you do his ultimate attack, he does a big strike and there's a big output amount of damage during that. So I would highly advise, if you're going to be using Jiyan in the future, make sure to always have his resonance chain filled up to the max, so when you go into your ult, you get the most damage out of it. I think I broke that down pretty easily. I don't think I'm really missing out much on Jiyan right now, but that's pretty much how you use Jiyan. If I missed out on anything, please let me know. I think I broke down all his mechanics, and I was learning along the way as I went and recording this video. I was learning a lot, and I was trying to figure out, like, I didn't really understand it. You know, you have to play a lot to really understand these complex characters. So I really hope that this video brought you some type of value. I hope you learned something new about this character. Will you be maining Jiyan? Let me know in the comments below. If you are, is he your favorite character? He's one of my favorite characters. I love him so much. He's so freaking cool, and I can't wait to use him when the global release comes out for Wuthering Waves. And let me know in the comments below who you want to see next. Please like, subscribe if you want to see more Wuthering Waves content. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.